A bit of immaturity there by the Loyola offense, still trying to figure out shot clocks. Younger group, that's going to be important for them today to recognize.
Loyola was 3-11 a year ago, and you mentioned it, Charlie Toomey, the toughest campaign record-wise in his 20-year tenure at Loyola, and he said he was emboldened by the fact that no one jumped into the portal. Everybody came back, ready to work, ready to improve. Eric Chick, 10 and white, second midfield line for Johns Hopkins is into the contest. Jacob Sullivan, short stick defense, and that is Charlie Eiler. Beautiful dodge from behind the cage, gets top side, sends it far post. Hopkins is out to a 1-0 lead.
If you're Johns Hopkins, this is exactly what you want. Charlie Eiler coming off of picks in space, getting up the hash. The two-handed California.
Shot on the down, Blue Jays off the post, reset, shot clock.
See the matchups out there. Number 88 in green, Jake Wilson. He is covering Charlie Eiler. And there you see a little modification. 17 in green is Chase Gregory. He's a long stick midi, starting at close this season for Loyola, but he's out playing against Collison, and it doesn't really matter as Chuck Rawson just glides right down University Parkway through the teeth of the Loyola defense and slips it by Watkinson.
Just way too easy for number 51 in white, Chuck Rawson. What I loved about that take, there wasn't anything fancy about the initial move, but watch his pump fake right there. Freezes the defense for a second. Got to get into the middle with his left hand. It's a little bit awkward, but he brings his stick up back across the front of it.
Had a 14 save outing against Towson this past Tuesday. Rawson, first midfield line back in for Johns Hopkins. Brooks English back to Collison. There's Chase Gregory to meet big number 16 in white. Swim move. Collison cycles it behind the cage. English. He's got great vision. Slippery player, quick slide. Jimmy Ayers, he's been quiet so far. Finds Eiler, who front swings and sticks it. The Hopkins offense continues to be methodical and productive.
Mark, the word that comes to mind for me right now for this Hopkins offense is just balance. They have a lot of pieces that are really fitting into the role that they need to fit into. Brooks English and Ross.
Chavette lets fly. Watkinson got a piece of it. It also ricochets off the pipe. The 11th shot for Johns Hopkins to only 3 for Loyola. Hopkins patiently surveying this defense for Loyola. 55. Hevia up top, and there's Collison with a rocket.
Mark, the speed at which that ball was in and out of Matt Collison's stick, for as big as he is and how much velocity he can get on that ball, that was so impressive. Watch here, he's going to catch the ball, feet are set, loaded in and out, and that thing is getting upwards of 100 miles per hour.
3 and 25. First Johns Hopkins midi to accomplish that since Paul Rabel. 4 face-off wins in a row now for Johns Hopkins as they continue to apply the pressure. Defensively, what do you think Loyola needs to adjust here to stem this tide?
I know they jumped to a zone before, Mark, but I just want to see them get more aggressive. I think Max is doing a tremendous job in cage, bailing them out, but it's just because Hopkins is getting to the middle of the field whenever they want because they're not getting touched up.
Rawson behind the back feed to Chavette. And Hopkins right now is getting downhill on Loyola. 5-0.
exuding confidence right now, Johns Hopkins. Tremendous pass there from Chuck Rawson, the behind the back. Just a little bit of that to Hunter Shaw. But obviously in this early season right now versus Hopkins, they don't have that pop.
Cook just took that shot. That was the first shot taken by Loyola since the 9-minute mark of the first quarter. We now have 4 minutes and 40 seconds left to go in the first stanza. Everhart matched up on the short stick D of Liam Burke. Shot goes wide. Backed up by the Greyhounds. His first midfield unit back on the pitch for Loyola.
Those are decent shots I'm seeing out of Everhart. I feel like he might be a little bit rushed getting up the hash. I think he has a little bit more time than he actually thinks to shoot that ball.
Parker Sorensen, talented freshman for Hopkins, applying the defense, but Brady Quinn fights through the pressure, bounces it home, and the Greyhounds are on the board.
And you can hear the Greyhound faithful in the crowd, super fired up for their guys. Brady. I feel like they're starting to play with a little bit of that oomph.
A little bit of juice. You get this crowd into it, it takes away a little bit of the home field advantage here. Because right now, I'm telling you, there's more Loyola students and fans here than Johns Hopkins ones.
Absolutely.
This is always a huge game for the Loyola Lacrosse community, Loyola community at large. Errant pass being run down by Connor Wilbur. Wilbur now, they have numbers. Shot, goal! Mitch Cavey from downtown. Loyola has scored 2 in a row.
This is rivalry. This is what the fans came to see. Mitch Cavey just stepping into it, letting one unwind, going low to low. That's a difficult save for any goalie. This place would have erupted if he scored that ball.
Get a pole goal. That'll get your fans fired up. Kyle McCarthy checking back into the game. Joined by 77 in green, Brady West. And 57 is Miles Halter. Connor Wilbur working from behind the cage. Minikis feet inside, Cook, shot. That was a clean look. Cook knows it, just goes wide. So it looks like Halter is getting some run on attack. Shot, just goes wide, picked up. West, shot, score! Miles Halter sent it across the face of the goal. Brady West, the senior out of Rockville Center, picks it up, puts it home. Loyola has scored 3 in a row.
Brady West, just right place, right time. Snags the ball out of the air, gets up the hash, catches dash. Lemony
up, so that's an all or nothing proposition in a lot of ways from Halter, the sophomore out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. His father, Jordan, was an offensive lineman at Notre Dame. Sub game now, played well by both teams. And here we go, Collison again getting matched up on a shorty. Tyler Olson is the sophomore. And Collison jumps through the crease, and he hammers it home. Not in the goal mouth. And Collison, you want to put a short stick on big number 16? Please do so.
That big man can move, baby. Matt Collison showing off his athleticism, getting underneath there, leaving his feet, little pump fake, and able to get in front of the cage. I mean, there's a lot of skill there. There's a lot of athleticism.
Makes sense. But some other guys have stepped up, mainly Matt Collison. Ayers working behind the cage. Feet in front to Collison. Can't handle, nice pickup. Jake Wilson with the ground ball. Terrific ride, Brooks English. And that is something that Peter Milliman pointed out to us this week, saying that is a secret superpower of Brooks English. He had 3 caused turnovers against Towson, and that one leads to a goal from Jimmy Ayers. It all starts with the ride back.
Brooks English, the Lawrenceville, New Jersey product, doing the little things, doing the dirty work on the ride. These are things that the casual lacrosse fan isn't going to see and be blown away by. But that's stuff.
Against Johns Hopkins gives Loyola the power play. Brady West starts it off. It's a 1-4-1 formation for Loyola.
Look out for one of the 2 players in the crease to pop the crease.
This is number 10, Ryan McGorry. He is a big righty hammer from the outside. Minikis finds McGorry. McGorry the one more. Cook roofs it. Nice little touch pass. McGorry to Cook. And Loyola cashes in on the extra man.
That was real nifty, man. Cook just dropping his hands, pulling it up top shelf, pulling Loyola back within 3.
Most of the time from that top point position. Finds McGorry. Good defense by Kilrain. Here comes Hopkins. We're at even strength. DeSico matched up on Cook. Cook front swings, rolls back. Looking for help. Brady Quinn checks into the game for Loyola, made a substitution. Murphy back to Minikis. Minikis, nice feed. Cook front swings and scores. That's the feeding ability of Matthew Minikis on a rope. And Loyola draws to within 2.
Mark, this was a special feed, special finish. I mean, Minikis' ability to throw that ball so accurately to Cook coming up field, getting around the defense.
We'll get an opportunity with the extra man. Push call.
Looked like a little bit more of a push on Jacob Sullivan, more of a tackle.
Johns Hopkins football team did advance to the NCAA semifinals this year. You think it's been cold the last couple weeks where they played. I think it was out in Wisconsin. The temperature had to reach 0 before they kicked off. The game was delayed.
But as I was saying, Mark, when you come to Johns Hopkins, you come here to play big games.
Ralston inside, and that's a big look from Charlie Eiler. The Blue Jays convert on the EMO, and that's a big goal for Hopkins.
Eiler continuing to show why his quarterbacking ability is so important for Johns Hopkins. I just think they've missed this the past few years. A guy that's just a presence behind the cage, settles you in, can make reads like that consistently, finding Chuck Rawson, bending in. That's an easy.
The Blue Jays. English with his approach. Trujillo trailing him. Ralston over to Collison. Collison, arms free shot. Watkinson again. Ball's loose in front of the cage. Who's going to come up with it? We've got a crease violation. It's Loyola ball. 13 seconds left to go. 9 saves for Watkinson. He was looking for that quick restart. They've got to come back to the crease. This is dangerous. Ayers underneath. Shot and a goal. Charlie. It's Brooks English. Underneath. And that hesitation on the restart seems to have thrown Loyola for a loop.
This guy English is just so sneaky. He's kind of always in the right spot. Ball's just bouncing to him, getting takeaways, and then watch here, a little dip and dunk. Pulling that ball high, far, and then back near. You're going to make them early in the season. You want to make them early in the season because if not, they're going to come back to bite you in the butt later down in Patriot League play.
And this is typical for Loyola. They play such an aggressive out-of-conference schedule. Their season opener against Georgetown was postponed. That will be played in mid-March. But then you go Maryland, Hopkins, and they'll get UMBC on the road next week. And that is in preparation for that gauntlet of the Patriot League schedule, a 9-team league, which traditionally only one team makes the NCAA tournament. Shot and a goal. That is David Desquie. Nice ball movement by Johns Hopkins, and Desquie, beautiful placement on that shot.
Talk about freshman Mark Desquie stepping up here and showcasing a beautiful shooting stroke, getting that low to high, dropping his hands back. Watch right here.
Without throwing a check, and I think that's what the Loyola bench, Charlie Toomey in particular, was arguing.
Just a double negative there, Mark. The offsides,
yeah,
and then the delay of game. That those are the types of things that are coming from a senior, and then you go down the other side. They can't happen.
Right. But again, I'll argue he didn't interfere with the path of Burke, but still, that's why I'm up here and not down on the field. Nice skip pass shot, and it doesn't get much smoother than that. Eiler to Rawson, who paints the corner, and all of a sudden, Hopkins is up by half dozen.
Rawson with the deceptive little feed right there, turning his head. Watch, right there, turns his head so that it deceives.
They get along, and you're seeing, at least here in the early season, some really positive results, some good momentum here with 9:13 left to go in the third quarter. So I think, you know, the stuff that you experienced yesterday, that's a real positive for this program.
When it's hard too, and not only playing at any Division I school, but to your point, a school like Johns Hopkins, where you have the rigor in the schedule, you have to be able to like the guys in your locker room and have fun.
Matt Collison continues the Blue Jay barrage as he roofs a dart under the crossbar. All Max Watkinson can do is shake his head. Hopkins out to a 7-goal lead.
Just way too easy for Collison here. Just no one even 3 yards, 4 yards close to him. His hand's free, exactly where he wants the ball in his left hand. Just sticks that under the crossbar. That's way too easy for him. He's gonna hit that shot 10 out of 10.
Reminder, the PLL and WL Championship Series starts on February 27th. Inside move, nice save. Watkinson again with the stop, using his body that time. Reset of the shot clock at 60 seconds. So Syracuse, they'll be the new #1. Big hopes, though, for the ACC this year as well. What a look at the ball movement, the passing behind the back, and it trickles in. Looks like Watkinson got a piece of it, but Chavette just put enough mustard on it to get past the Loyola netminder. And it is a 6-goal run for Johns Hopkins. They have turned an 8-5 game into a 14-5 lead, 13-5 lead.
These guys are just having fun. I don't know what else to say. I mean, look at Collins. He's throwing behind the back passes. Chavette face dodging, getting underneath, finishing that ball. They're having fun. They're confident.
Lamedy has been a brick wall. His 10th save of the game. And Jules, that's got to be what, 3 or 4 point-blank range.
These last 2 for Dash, I didn't feel like he was being tested too much today, but those last 2, you see why Coach Peter Milliman of the Johns Hopkins Blue Jays is so high on Dash. Takes up so much of the cage, but has quick enough hands to deny Loyola.
You can't get that one. Nice transition goal there for Mason Cook of the Greyhounds. And that play was started by number 17 in green, Chase Gregory, with a great takeaway on the far sideline, and then he walked the tightrope to keep it in bounds.
Chase Gregory initiating. Mason Cook finally getting that ball past Dash. His ability to wrap around Dash, have two players in that offensively and defensively in the cage that can really be their anchors. They just have to start to fill in some of the other pieces, get guys to start believing a little bit more. And then the double errors that I've seen, I think that they could clean that up a little bit and limit some of those. And maybe they're not going to beat this Hopkins team, but maybe they be in the game a little bit more and be able to think about down the stretch of the Patriot League how they could get some of those wins in conference play.
Minica's shot goes wide. Loyola now 1 for their last 12 shooting. And we talked about it. That goal at the end of the first half where Hopkins scored, that was a backbreaker for Loyola. Everhart gets top side, finishes, showing off that range. I'll tell you one thing about Everhart. He's been stuffed several times here today, but he keeps on going.
Resiliency. That's a word that kind of comes to mind when you think about Everhart and what this Loyola program is going to need to have. This is the first time I've really seen him get his hands free. Big time for him, big time.